In today's video, we're going to talk all about reading journaling, so stay tuned. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. For those of you that are new, welcome. I want to thank you all so much for stopping by. My name is Tracy and I am a girl with plans. So the reason why I'm filming this video is because I am itching to start setting up my bullet journal for 2025. I know, it's still kind of early, but I am not someone who can sit down and set up my entire reading journal in like a weekend or a week. I need I don't know. I have to do it like when the creativity hits. And yes, I only use stickers and I don't draw very much in there, but I still need that creativity to do it. So I want to be able to create a spread today and then maybe 2 weeks from now create another spread. Really, if I start now, I'll probably still be pushing it by the time the end of December comes to complete my reading journal. Because if you do create it yourself from scratch, it does take a while. It really, really does. And you need to set a lot of the stuff up kind of at the beginning, or you want to set it up at the beginning, especially because the beginning of the year is always I don't know, it's just so busy in the planner world. So you kind of just want to have it done and ready to go by the time January 1 hits. Of course, like I said, you don't have to. Case in point, I actually switched to a reading bullet journal in February of this year. So obviously I did not have it set up at the beginning of the year. And I've kind of been adding pages to it that I probably would have, if I had done an earlier setup, I would have already added it to it. But I'm trying to figure out what I want. So I am going to brainstorm about what I like and what I don't like, so that way I can start the setup process. But I figured while I'm doing that, I will kind of show you my initial entry into the reading journal world, where I did a DIY reading journal using a disc bound system and Happy Planner planners and note pages, and then pages that I created in Microsoft Office. And then I will show you my current reading journal, which is almost full. Can't believe it. This is a B5 Archer and Olive. So this is pretty close to a 7x9 size. That's not the exact dimensions, but it's pretty close. And this is a classic Happy Planner. So I did start out in 2023 creating a reading journal. I wanted to get back into reading. And I was just mesmerized by watching all of the people on YouTube create these fabulous reading journals. I'm like, okay, I think I want to try it. I think it'll be fun. So I did. I did this just using stencils and to kind of track my books. I read 36 books then. Now this is not going to be a recap of that. I'm just kind of showing you how I did everything just to kind of give people ideas. This I created all in Microsoft Office. I did shapes. I used Microsoft Shapes to create the books, and then Microsoft Shapes to create the little rectangle, really narrow rectangle for my bookshelf. And then this is an image. I think at the time I had Adobe or something, and this was one of the images there. So I did all of that in Microsoft Office. And I kind of just used pages that I thought I would like, because I had never ever kept track of my reading. I cannot even remember some of the books I read 3 and 4 years ago, because I never kept track of it. So I was just kind of figuring out what I wanted to do, and I knew I wanted a shelfie because I just think it's really, really cool. I'm going to keep that this year. I'll show you my shelfie and my bullet journal. Maybe that's the best way to do it. So here's my shelfie and my bullet journal, and no, I have not updated it in a couple of months, but it's fine because I have it all in my monthly, my monthly stays updated. So I have all of the information in here, plus my reading reviews. So I can just go to my reading review pages and catch up there, and then just come back and fill it in. It's actually a little bit easier because I can have the one highlighter. I know the color is correct because sometimes picking the wrong color always happens, and then I can just go ahead and fill it in for the whole month. So I might end up doing that after this video. But so this is what I did this year. I drew the books myself this year. You can see they're a little square because that was just the easiest way to do it. I just did a line for the shelf. So this was super, super simple. I had some really cool stickers at the beginning of the year that I used for this. I will say there is one change that I did make, and I made the change and I still didn't come in here and color the books because I did this kind of recent. I had like a sticker here, probably a sticker here too. I removed all of those stickers and I drew more books because I only had 50 books in here and I am over 50 right now. So I needed more books. I'm like, let's just go ahead and fill in all the space with books. So that way I will hopefully have enough and not have to do an extra page, which wouldn't have been a problem. I would have just taped it here and then folded it over. So it would be like a fold out page. But yeah, there's just several ways to do this. And I just think it looks really, really cool and really, really colorful. Both when I did the disc bound and in my current journal, I was capturing the reading by the month. Maybe I should start writing some of this stuff down. I do not want to do that anymore. I feel like I might be able to capture that in other ways. I'm actually thinking, so I know I'm keeping my shelfie. I'm keeping it. But like I said, I just don't feel like this really tells me as much, especially because this is not updated either. I have the numbers here. So I'm writing the overall numbers of the books I read each month here. So I need to update for August and September. But I think what I want to do in 2025 is maybe color code by genre. I think this will be a really cool place to do that. And I think I want to color code it. Most of them are going to be the main genre, but I think when it comes to fantasy, I think I'm going to break fantasy into subgenres. And probably romance too. Break fantasy and romance into a subgenre. So then there's going to be a bunch of colors. Because I'm sitting here thinking, like fantasy has so many like different, there's like dark fantasy, then there's like fairy tale retellings, which most of those are dark. But like, do I want to like, I know that's not like an official genre, but I might want to color code that and make that a genre. This is just kind of to see how many of those I read, so I might do something like that. Maybe I should write that as an example so I won't forget fairy tale retellings. I like that. Because what I was thinking was like romantasy, epic fantasy, dark fantasy. But fairy tale retellings would be a good one. So yeah, that's the only thing. However, I think it's fine to do it by month. People also do it by how they read or listened to it. So their method of reading it. So whether or not it was Kindle, physical book they own, a library book or whatever, they can color code it that way. Some people color code it by star rating, so they can do a quick overall glance by, if it's a 5-star, then it's gonna be my yellows. If it's a 1-star, it's gonna be my reds and stuff like that. So it's just like a good way to like, you can visually see how many books you completed with all the titles on here, which is really, really cool. But then it's another method of actually capturing some stuff. So yeah, that's one of the first things. And then the goals page, I guess I should go back to that. It's always fun to create a goals page. This was my goals here this year. I'm thinking for goals, I kind of want to do something else too. Like this, I just colored it in as I did, but I'm like, let's do the same thing like here. Let's track something so that we don't have to create an extra spread to track something. Let's color code it and a way to track it. And I think I'm going to track that by the formats. So I'm going to say color code by format. And it's also going to be a lot of colors because I think I want to divide it up. So I think when we do ebooks, I think I want to divide it up between Libby and Kindle Unlimited and maybe free Kindle. Because there's a lot of stuff here, Kindle days, so I get free books on there. Because what I really, really want to like know and evaluate this year is how much I'm using Kindle Unlimited, which right now it's almost exclusively Kindle Unlimited. But there are a lot of good books in my library. So like this, if I find that I'm kind of half and half, I might even like take a break from Kindle Unlimited. save me some money for a month or two and just use Libby or my free books that are sitting on my Kindle that I've never read. So that's what I want to do. So it'll be like ebooks, audio, and audio will also be broken up into Libby. I hope me brainstorming is okay for you guys. I figure I have to do it anyway. Might as well film it. So I think I'm gonna do that with Libby, Spotify, maybe Audible. I don't have an Audible. Spotify is gonna be iffy too because like right currently as of the filming, I have a 3-month free trial. I don't know if I'm gonna continue it, so I might switch to Audible. So I think it's gonna be Spotify or Audible. I don't think it's going to be both. And I think that's it for audio. And then we'll do physical. And it's going to be books I own or books I borrow. We'll just keep it like that. Books I own or books I borrow, which if it's borrows from the library, but we'll just keep it that simple. All right. So I think that's what I'm going to do for my goals. So then that actually means I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 colors. I know people, I think if it's a combo and like if I do audio and an ebook, I'll just do 2 colors in that. I'll just try hopefully to make a big enough, like if I did this, that would have been easy to do 2 colors. Okay. Moving on. So this was also something that when I first started doing my reading journal, I was like, oh, everybody's doing this. I need to do this too. So that's what I did. Obviously, I did smaller book covers this year. And I do like my star ratings on this particular page. So yeah, this is just a regular piece of paper that that's 32-pound paper. I'll have that linked down in the description box. It's under my Amazon links down in the description box. I have a lot of stuff linked down in there, so definitely check it out. But yeah, so I use that and then I printed everything out. Now this is really cool and it's a really like aesthetically pleasing feature. But if you don't have a printer, I would say it's not like a make or break. You can, if you're really artistic, you can try to draw it, or you can just have a table with books read. And I actually think, here we go. Look, here is an alternative to this. I did this last year, and I just, again, this is a table, but obviously you can see as simplistic as this is, you can just hand draw this with a ruler and line. It's just a ruler and lines, but I did this in Microsoft Office. So I just divided it by genre here. I just thought that was kind of cool. So that way I can kind of see how much I was reading by genre. You can divide it up however you wish, whatever you kind of want to keep tabs on or a tally of, or you can just have a one ongoing list. So like if you don't have a printer or you don't want to do this, because like I said, I'm a couple months behind in printing out my book covers in my current journal. You can always do this. You can always do this. And then if you want to do this for now and then print them all out at one time. Because you obviously want to make sure you have a page full before you print them out, especially if you're using sticker paper. But yeah, so that is an option. I try to do something like that here, and I've stopped. I stopped in June with this, and I was trying to color them, but because I didn't write the titles in here, I just didn't keep up with it. So this is not going in my new bullet journal. I know that for a fact. I do not need to write it down. I am not going, that's why I'm going to be tracking my genres, I believe, on my shelfie. Based on these color coding I'm writing down, they could swap. I could do format on my shelfie, and then on my goals page, I could do by genre. It doesn't really matter. I just know I don't want to track that stuff there. This was just, I just haven't been keeping up with it. Really cool, really fun, really pretty. I'm just not keeping track of it. So I'm not going to do that this year. But it's a fun, again, options. And the one thing, again, I made these stickers on Canva for Kindle, audio, and physical, so I can track the format that I'm doing it. So I was writing the title, the format, the data finished, the rating, and then the subgenre. Just because a lot of these did have different subgenres, especially when it came to romance and fantasy. Okay, so that's it for some ways to track that. Do I have any challenges in this book? So here we go. So this, I didn't do this in 2023, but this is what I created in 2024 to do it. Again, this was Microsoft Office, and then I just did that. And I took the stickers off because I wanted to reuse them. So it's the book battle. I had all these stickers in here and I used undo to redo it. So I need to update. It's like I'm 2 months behind and everything. I'm not sure why. So I like doing the battle of the books because it's just a way to, like, for me, I don't have any other place in here where I have one page dedicated to my top reads of the month. Some people will print out the book covers for that. I just decided this would be the way that I would capture it. So I write the top book of that month. And then the book from the first quarter faces off against each other and you have your top book. So first quarter faces off against second quarter, and then you have a first half of the year winner. And that's going to be the same thing. And then the first half of the year winner versus the second half of the year winner will go head to head to come up with the top book of the year. So again, I like it. I think it's fun. I think it's just neat because this is a place where you can kind of see your top reads for the month too. So yeah, like I hand drew all this with just stencils. So that's just all stencils. And then I use stickers to make it cute. And this was again, like Microsoft Office. So yeah, that's one way. Like I said, some people will print out book covers, and put them there. You can just do a regular table too. So I think that's pretty much it. Like I had these two. This was going to be my trackers for this year. When I was going to do a disc-bound system, and then I changed my mind. You could see, like, for mystery and suspense, I wasn't expecting them to be spicy. But then when it came to spice, here it is. So romance books, I added a spice tracker. And I think fantasy, I added a spice tracker. I'm not sure what my fantasy ones are. But yeah, so that's what I created this year. I added the extra little block for there. Let's see. So challenges, because I do want to write, series tracker. This year, I like the way this looks. I have not kept up with this in terms of writing new series down. I am reading a lot of new series and I'm not writing them down. I don't even know if I've written down. Oh, I did write down the Kindred's Curse saga. That one should be finished. Should be finishing up. But there are just some I just haven't been writing down and I really need to. And I like the fact that I can see the titles of the books. It makes it easier, especially in these longer series where you can't remember like what's book 3 or 4. You only know it by title. But next year, I think I'm going to be a little bit more simplistic. And I think it's because I only read series pretty much because I am primarily a fantasy book reader. And those are typically series. So there are a lot of series that I read. And while I like this, I think it's just too much. Like next year, I think I want to tackle Throne of Glass. Of course, I'll have to get it from my library. So we'll see how long it takes me to do that because I have the first book on hold and it's going to take months for that. But, I think I want to be simplistic. So I know I want a series tracker, but I think I want it to be a simplistic, more like a table maybe. I know people do it where they write the title of this series over here and then just have check boxes off to the side for how many books there are. So I might go that route. I really do like the titles of the individual books. I just don't know if I can pull it off. And I think, again, during setup, yeah, I can do it. It's in May. Am I going to want to say, oh, I'm starting a new series. Let me write down all the books from that series. Maybe, maybe not. I think that's the problem. During setup, you can do everything, but it's like maintaining it throughout the year that makes it hard. So that's why I do think I'm going to go more simplistic when it comes to my series trackers. Now let's talk about challenges. And I don't think I have very many challenges in here. So we're going to go straight to my reading journal. My reading bullet journal. Okay. So I made a cute little cover page and everything like that. So I was doing these. I left these blank. So these were set up at the season. This was really fun, and it was really fun to use like stickers that I like, new sticker books that I got. So I did a spring reading challenge, a summer reading challenge. I have not done a fall reading challenge, so I don't know if I'm gonna do one. To be completely honest, we'll see. I have a lot. I'm doing the magical readathon. Yes, I said I'm doing it because it is going to be a 2-month challenge for me and not just a 1-month challenge. Because I just started it. So a lot of people, it's like ongoing, or you started at the beginning of the year. I just started it. So that's why. But these are fun. I don't know if I'm going to be doing them seasonally or not, but I do think I want to keep pages blank to kind of create reading challenges throughout the year versus having them all at the beginning of the year. I don't need a lot because I think I would want to do something like this. Something this simplistic. Like maybe I'll find an author that I really, really like, and I might want to create a reading challenge for that author. I just think it's fun. So I have the fantasy bingo card here. This goes through March of 2025. I need to go in and fill it in. I have this little sheet here where I'm kind of jotting down the books that I think I want to fill these spots. Some of these I've already read, but I don't want to put it in here because there's like hard levels and easy levels. So you need to kind of almost read all your books and then see where they fit at the end, because some of these will fit multiple prompts. It's confusing. But that brings me to my other thing I think I'm going to change. I think I'm going to add a supplemental journal for these more complex reading challenges. The Magical Readathon is one of them. I do not have a spread in here yet for the Magical Readathon. I don't have enough pages. The Magical Readathon is like a Dungeons and Dragons type readathon. Book Roast is the one who put it together, so you can like check out her channel to kind of see how that all works. But like you pick a character, you go on quest, and like to go on quest you read a book, and that's how you like get through the quest. So it's like really, really fun, and I feel like I can create a supplemental journal to kind of keep that and maybe like continue it throughout the years, because this has been going on like every year it happens. So I can keep it. So I'm thinking about doing a supplemental reading journal, but it's not going to be just dedicated to that particular like challenge. I think I could use some of these challenges that go over, like this one is April of the current year to March of the next year every year. So this might be something that I might want to throw in that journal. So that way it's not here. That way I can just pull it off my shelf when I want to update it, and I'll just be there. I need to update this as well because I think there's a couple. I think E is done. I think R is done. Is A done? I know that. So yeah, I need to like go back and fix this. I think O, maybe X and Y and Z are the only ones I need to finish. I love the A to Z challenge. So now I'm going to go on here, and I know I'm going to do A to Z. I know a lot of people get bored with this, and like to up the game, sometimes people will do an A to Z challenge with authors' names. The reason why I love challenges, like even this crazy challenge, which is going to be hard to finish, is because as a mood reader, I'm always sometimes struggling about what to read next, and I need a lot of options. And things like this gives me a lot of options because I'm like, what do I need to read next in order to fulfill that certain challenge? So that's why I do a lot of challenges, and it's not even about completing the challenges. It's just to help guide me into certain directions when I don't know what I want to read. Book bingo. I am going to have a book bingo, but I'm not sure how I'm going to do it next year. So for next year, for book bingo, I just randomly put things in here this year. Did I finish and do it? I did this. Oh yeah, I've colored in that one. I don't know that I've book I own. I can color that one in. We're not here to talk about this, but I just randomly put prompts on here. You can see examples of book bingos on like all over the place. I do have one that I created for when I originally was going to go this route. Okay, book bingo. I think this might have been last year's. I created this in Microsoft Office. So again, I'm assuming you can do the same with Google Docs or anything like that, but I just created a table. So I created a table that was 5 by 5. So 5 columns, 5 rows, made sure they were all the same as in perfect squares, and printed it out. Well, before I printed it out, I wrote in each of the little cells my little prompts. Again, these are prompts I just made up at the time. So the one thing I think I'm going to do, and this was my simplistic A to Z challenge last year. So I did that on Microsoft Office, but when I went this one, I just hand drew it all. Like this, I hand drew. I think I'm going to be a little bit more intentional with my book bingo. I don't know if I'm going to do it related to goals, where it's going to, like, once I set my reading goals, if it'll like help me stay on that path. I don't know. I need to figure that out. So I definitely want to have kind of a theme. I don't know if that's the correct terminology, but I want it to kind of guide me in a certain direction. And the other thing is, because we're in 2025, do I even want a free space? I might just keep that open and have 25 prompts. We'll see. Buzzword challenge. I just did this year. I said books with Lala. Is that what it is? I think maybe that's who did it. I love this challenge, and the reason why I love it is because for January, May, June, and September, all of the books I read, I would not have read if there's the prompt, if they didn't fit the prompt. It was the prompt that got me to read it. So like there, and there was the prompt for January. So I did Into Their Woods. Would have never read it. It was an okay book. It wasn't great, but it was okay. I'm probably going to read the follow-up. So, hey, there we go. So again, that's why I do these reading challenges, because I would have never read that book. Lock Every Door. I am not a thriller reader. That one was, it was okay. They Wish They Were Us. It was repeating words. So they and they were in there twice. Would have never read that book. Really, really enjoyed that book. There's No Place Like Oz. I needed the book with the word like. So all of these are really simplistic. They're very simple words. Like for the rest of the year, so September was senses. October is relationships. November is the word only in the title. And then December is a holiday word. Obviously, that can be so many words. So they're very simplistic, but again, it kind of narrows things down to kind of help you read, help you pick a book. If you have a whole bunch of books on your TBR, it can help narrow it down. Or for me, it can kind of get me out of my comfort zone and get me to read other books that I wouldn't have normally read. There is a printout that she usually has, so you can just print that out and put it in your journal. I think I might have done that. Oh, I see it. I see it. There we go. Here was the Buzzword Reader Challenge. You could totally print it out and then punch it. That's what I did here. It was a little small, so then I added washi there. But that was the Buzzword Reading Challenge for 2024. So you can see with the disc bound, you can definitely kind of customize it to your needs. So yeah, I'm going to do the Buzzword. I'm probably going to do the Reddit maybe again. And then I'm going to do, I'm going to do the mystical readathon. I'm going to continue that, especially if I create a whole nother book, but that'll be a separate book. Maybe we'll do that separate. All right, this video is getting really long, so I'm going to try to speed it up. But yeah, so I'm going to do those in separate books. Some of the other challenges that I thought about doing and decided against it, but I'll mention it because you might want to do them. There is the Read the Rainbow Challenge. I think that's what it's called. Basically, like Roy G. Biv type things. They're like red, orange, yellow, blue, you know. You read a book that matches, that has that color on the cover. And a lot of people do that and they like print out the book covers again. But of course you could just like color it in that color with a mile liner or something like that, and then just write the title of it. You could be like really, really creative. The reason why I don't do that particular challenge, even though right now I do have quite a few physical books on my shelf, although looking at them, most of them are black or blue. I don't have an extensive physical book library, and I feel like it would be a lot easier if I had a physical library, like a lot of books that I needed to read on my shelves, because then I would look and pick a red book or look and pick a yellow book. But I don't. I'm primarily a Kindle book reader, so that's why I haven't used those. I'm trying to think of any other challenges. I can't think off the top of my head of any other book challenges. But there are so many. There's like a 52 book challenge or something like that. I was going to try to do that. That was complicated. I did this. This is not really a challenge, but it's the Goodreads award winners. I printed, there's more than this, but these are the ones that I printed off thinking that maybe I could read it. And I think one of these is on here twice. Wayward. Because it was, yeah, so I was on there twice. But then my goal was to see how many of these I can read. So far, I've only read 3. I might end up reading 4 and 5. I don't know. We'll have to see. But it really didn't work out as much as I thought it would. So yeah, there's just all kinds of things that you can think of for a reading challenge. So if you want the disc-bound route, obviously you can just continuously add things to your planner when you want to do a reading challenge. If you're doing like an actual reading journal, you probably just want to leave a few pages spare for when you go to, if you want to go and create and add more challenges throughout the year is what I want to say. Trying to figure it out. All right, so now I'm going to talk about summaries, monthly summaries. I love monthly summaries. Yes, I do. So I've done this a few different ways. Starting in January, I did it here. I kind of kept the general thing, but when did I think it was this month. We'll do July. And then, no, August. So August was more, I did 4 pages. I don't think I needed that much space. But basically, I created a calendar here, and I did dots. And that was a graduated version for what I did in my disc-bound journal. Because in here, I had Happy Planner. Let's see, where's January? Here we go. So I was using a Happy Planner, old outdated calendar, found one that matched the days of the week. So I just redated the dates and then hid the whatever date it was with stickers. I write the title of the book and then draw lines for like when I read and then notate when I finish. So that's how I kept track of what I was reading here. And then since then in my bullet journal, I didn't really want to have to deal with all that space, but I really do like the dots. And then over here is where I write the titles. And you can see like Finley Donovan Jumps the Gun is the light blue. So I really like this version of the dots versus this because it gets a little complicated sometimes if you're doing like multiple books and following it. And then if you don't read for a day. So this also is a way that I'm tracking what days I read and what days I don't read. Because if I don't have any dots, I didn't read that day. So yeah, the other thing is trying to figure out what kind of stats to keep up with. Let's go to last year's. All right. Do I have any ones? Well, that's fine. So here I kind of did the same thing. So you can see I did that, but then on the back, I wrote total books I read and I broke that down, total pages I read. If I listened to any audio, I would have put that here, completed books. And then favorite book. So I kind of do the same here. So again, number completed, total number of pages or hours. And then this was kind of a combination of that. I've since kind of gone away from that, but I do capture the days I read. And then I've been trying to figure out the types of things I do want to track. So again, that's why I said sometimes it's like fun to maybe use the next 2 months as like a test run to see what types of things you would want to capture. So like for each month, I started out with favorite book, least favorite, longest, shortest, favorite character, favorite moments. Have I done that recently? I have not. I've done quote, which I haven't filled out, but I did favorite and least favorite. So I probably need to get back into that now that I'm thinking about it. But then I did like a breakdown by genres, any books that I abandoned. I was doing full page reviews of certain books. They were not necessarily favorite books, as in one of these. This one was like one of my least favorite books I read, and I just needed to talk about it. But what I think I might do is I think I might change this up. I definitely need to figure out what I want to track. I don't have to figure that out until January, so I'm not really going to stress too much about that because this is something I don't need to set up. I think what I'm going to do, the one thing I am going to do is in my bullet journal, I had done this where I had just went from month to month. And then my reading reviews was in a completely different section here, and I started out doing 4 to a page, and then I went 2 to a page. I kind of like the 2 to a page. I'm still not really writing a crazy amount, but it looks cuter decorated. So I'm not sure how that's going to work, but I'm going to run out of space for my reviews in this book, in this section. I'm going to have to like separate it. So like I'm going to have to go to the back and write reviews, which is a bummer because I would like to have it all together. So next year I'm actually contemplating doing my monthly recap and then immediately putting my reviews afterwards. What I may do is do a calendar, maybe stats, maybe my favorites and stuff on one page, and then my favorite book. Maybe I'll dedicate that to a 1-page spread. And then I will get into doing my book spreads like I did here with either 4 to a page, 3 to a page, or 2 to a page. It might not even be consistent. It might be just based on what I need to write. So I might end up trying to hold my reviews until toward the end of the month so I can kind of figure it out. Like if there's a books that I think I have a lot to write about, then I might want to share and do 2 to a page. And then ones that I only have a little bit to write about, I might be able to do 3 to a page. So maybe that's what I need to do. Right now I'm doing it as I go. But for my reading journal in the discbound, what I did here is I used a horizontal layout from Happy Planner. This is the OG horizontal layout, so there's no checklist. But what I did here is I just went ahead. There's spots for 4. I printed off the book covers and I wrote the name, and then I keep my stats, not stats, I put the information here that I would want to capture, which is when I started, when I finished. So I just do like 129 to 131, how many pages or how many hours, if it was audio, and then the genre. What do I track here? I think that's generally what I track here. And then I did recently start adding like ratings specifically for plot, characters, writing, interest, and enjoyment. I do think I'm going to continue with that. And then I do a star rating, and then if necessary, I do a spice rating. So yeah, and I am tracking how I'm reading it with my little stickers. Oh, I am noting whether or not it's Libby or Kindle Unlimited on here. Just because there's nowhere else to track it at the moment because this was already in progress. So I'm just tracking it here. So there are several ways to do book review pages. Again, you could do it on a blank sheet of paper and then divide it however you want. Here you can do, a lot of people do full pages. This is a B5. So this is a lot larger of a journal. Here's an A5. So you can kind of see the difference in sizes. So if you were using a smaller journal and you really didn't read as much too, so you really weren't concerned about filling the pages, but these have, this one has like 160 pages, so it should be okay. You can maybe do 1 to a page if you really need to. So, you could do whatever you want, especially if it's a smaller journal. You're not going to have as much space. This one is so large. I have plenty of space. So yeah, so that's what I think I'm going to combine my monthly with my reviews this year is what I was getting at. But I definitely wanted to show you the different ways to do review pages if that's something you want. Not everybody does review pages. I should stress that. There are definitely some you can go on, like I said, and just watch days upon days of reading journal setups and see where people do not do reading reviews. Sometimes they only do it for certain books. Some people only do it for their 5-star reads. Some people don't do it at all. They're just focused mainly on their stats. So it's like whatever you want to do. I do the book covers just because, again, I'm always printing out my book covers for my shelfie. Or not my shelfie, my like that gallery wall that I have. That's what I call it. So being I'm having to print out the covers for that anyway, I go ahead and print out the covers for my reviews. And I do keep it all here too. So I keep like book cover, sizes, reading log, reviews, 5-star, buzzwords. So that way I know the height that I need it for. Is there anything else I think I need to chat about? Oh, there is one more thing that I am trying to figure out where to put it and how to do it in a new bullet journal is this. I really want to do series reviews. I want to do, but I don't want it to be this big. Like I was doing individual books here. I don't want it to be like that. I don't think I've done any yet. I have a series review section here, but like I did the Kindred Curse Saga and I was breaking it apart by book. What I would rather have done is like literally 1 page, or if I really, really loved it, I could do a 2-page and do an overall view of the series as a whole. So it would be pretty much once the series is concluded, like Vampire Academy. If I ever read that final book, which I've been meaning to do for the past 2 months or 3 months, however long it's been out, 4 months, I guess. Then I could do like a page. I'll have the entire, like my thoughts over the entire series. That was 9 books, or was it 10? I don't even remember. It was a lot of books. I didn't read the novellas, but that might need 2 pages. So I really do like doing series trackers. So I think I would want to do that. What I'm thinking about doing, you can see I started a romantasy-thon, romantasy readathon. I didn't do it. I just put it in the back. But I'm thinking for maybe my series trackers, just starting in the back of the journal. So like I won't have a cover page or anything like that. It's just my first series. I will just start here, start decorating it. So that way everything else is going front to back and that's going from here. So that way it will just meet up in the middle. Maybe I'll leave a few pages blank in the back for like random stuff that isn't as important. And then I'll start my series tracker. I think that's what I'm going to do this coming year, because I do want to have all my series reviews together. Did I say tracker? I mean, series reviews together. Some other things that I think I'm going to do this year is I think I do want a physical. I don't want it to be a TBR, but I want it to be a physical shelf tracker. So now that I have a bookshelf with books on it, I need to read those books. So I kind of want to make sure I'm reading it. So it's kind of going to be a TBR, but it's literally going to be every book I own and see how many I can get to until the end of the year. So I need to do, so I think I want to do a full page review for favorite book. And then I think I'm going to just do a 3-page monthly recap. So then that would be my 4th page. So I think that would be the best way to do it for a bullet journal. So that way I can have like January's calendar and like track my reads, like what I'm reading in my TBR over here. And then over here, I can do all my stats. And over here, I can do my favorites and I can do my favorite book. I think I already said that. But I think that's what I'm going to do. So I will only need 4 pages. And then that's when I will start with my other ones. I think that's it. I don't think I missed anything else. I think the other things that I might need, I obviously need a goals page, which I already think I've captured, but I want more than just the average goals. I need a ratings page, which is going to be a description of my ratings. Oh, I do. I need the monthly recap overview. I think I'm going to do this in a table format because I think I want to track more stuff. So I think I'm going to do it as a table so that way I can better compare everything. We'll see. Maybe I'll do a setup video of that stuff. And then 5-star DNF. We know that. I think that's it, guys. I think that's it for my reading my reading journal brainstorming. But I figured this was a good opportunity to talk about the different ways that I have tracked reading over the past 2 years. I'm still a newbie at this. But at least maybe you can learn from some of the things I did. And then I was going to brainstorm. Like I said, there's a few things that I'm changing, mainly how I'm tracking things. Like I said, I think I'm going to do a supplemental reading book that will be for kind of those long-term challenges. I think that'll be fun. And then I can be more elaborate with them. That I might start soon because I can start it now with the Magical Readathon. So be on the lookout for that. I do think I'm going to stick with the B5. I really do like the size of this. I think I would like the 8x8, but I feel like the B5 I don't know what else I would use this for. And the 8x8 I can use for so many things. I really like 8x8 is my favorite layout, but this works really well for a reading journal. So I think I'm going to stick to the B5 for a reading journal. Maybe eventually I'll go to 8x8. I can never do an A5. I mean, look, y'all, that's just so much smaller. I don't know how I would do that. But yeah, there we go, guys. That was a lot. That was a chatty video. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you are thinking. Are you going to create a reading journal? Are you thinking about recreating a reading journal? Remember, it does not have to be fancy. It can literally be a notebook. And I'm not talking about a happy planner notebook. I'm talking about a general spiral bound notebook that you pick up at Walmart just to kind of get started on thinking about what you're reading. If you don't read a lot and you're kind of worried about filling up the journal, maybe turn it into a multimedia journal so you can have different sections. Or you can just track it all together, and you can track the books you read, the podcast you've listened to, the TV series you're watching, the movies you go see. You can track all that stuff like for the month, and you can do ratings and intertwine all the ratings and reviews. If you're wanting to get into some kind of like creative journaling outlet, but worried that like you don't read enough to do it, you can always do the multimedia route. But like I said, you can go super basic and just list everything down just so that way you have record of what you've read. And then on days that you want to get fancy, you can just add a fancy spread, and like you just don't have to do it all the time. Because sometimes it is busy. As you can see, I haven't updated some of my trackers in a while, but the information's there, so I can go back later. All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning into this video. I really do appreciate it. If you enjoyed it, please hit that like button. And if you have yet to subscribe, I hope you will consider subscribing, because at this point, I really do think I'm going to have more than one video where I'm going to be setting up my new reading journal for 2025. Because like I said, I set it up slowly. So I can't do one video showing you my entire setup process. I have to do it slowly. So definitely stay tuned for that. I also throw out about one video a month about my reading recaps and my reading journal setup. So yeah, there we go. All right, guys, that's all I have. I hope you have a good rest of your day, evening, or night. Until next time, bye.